Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture on C++ programming language. So today we are in lecture 10, and in this lecture we're going to talk about logical operators in C++ programming language. So we are in lecture 10, and we're going to talk about logical operators in C++ programming language. So when we use the logical operators in C++ programming language, so when we need to check or combine multiple conditions together and check the result. If we need in our program to check more than one condition, so we need to use logical operators. So the logical operators actually combine the conditions together. Like, for example, I can give you a real world example. Like if you log into your Facebook account, so you need to provide the username and the password on the form. So you provide the username and the password. So what happens, so you provide your username is like mike@123.com, and your password is like, for example, 12345. So you enter this password on the form, and whenever you click on the login button, what happens, so this username and this password is going to check with the username which they have in their databases and the password which they have. They compare these two. Like they check if the username you provided is equal to the username which they have in their database. This is one condition. If the username you provided is equal to the username on the database, and so we use the logical AND operator here, and the password you entered is equal to the password which they have in their database. Suppose I name this one as PWD. So they actually in database we have tables. Like we have here, like ID, and then we have uname, and then we have password. Like I write here PWD. So in advanced lecture, we learn about database when we develop, real world applications in C++, those GUI programs. When we finish the basic one and the essential part of C++, so we go to advanced C++, which is GUI programming. So we learn about this concept. So this is ID, this is our table, and the username is, suppose the username is Mike, and the password is 12345. So if you enter here, the username is Mike and the password is 12345. So it checks this username is equal to this username. Yes, if it's true, so then they check if the password you entered is equal to that password. So you enter 12345, so it's equal to 12345, which is on the database. So then you can log into the your Facebook account. So this is a real world example of using logical operators. As you can see, we use the logical AND operator to combine these two conditions. If one of the condition is false, so the result will be false and you cannot log in. Like if you provided incorrect username, so you cannot log in, or if you provided incorrect password, so you cannot log into your Facebook account. So these two conditions should be true at the same time, so you can log into your Facebook. So in C++, we have three different logical operators. We have a logical logical AND operator, logical AND operator, which symbol is like ampersand sign. I write here like this, but it's ampersand sign. So logical AND operators is used to check multiple conditions. If both conditions are true at the same time, the result will be true. The result of logical AND operator will be true. If one of the condition is false, then the result will be false. So the logical AND operator checks those two conditions. If both of them are true, the result will be true. Otherwise, the result will be false. So for example, if we define Boolean, a bool variable called result, and I check here two conditions, like I would say, if 10 is larger than 5 and like 2 is larger than 1. In this case, we have two conditions. First condition checking if the number 10 is larger than 5. Yes, that's larger, so the result is true. And we have AND operator checking another condition. If number 2 is larger than 1, yes, that's also true. So if both conditions are true, so the result will be true. So now inside the result variable, we have the result is now true. Otherwise, if one of these conditions is false, so for example, if we say, if we change the 1 to 3, so now we can see this condition, this part is true because 10 is larger than 5. But this part, another condition, the second condition is not true because 2 is not larger or bigger than 3. So it means this is false. So the result of AND operator will be false because one of the condition is now false. In AND operator, both results should be true. Both results should be true, so the result will be true. Otherwise, if one of them is false, the result will be false. So this is, now inside the result will be, false because one of this condition, if you see out the result will be false or 0. In C++, 0 is considered false and true is considered 1. So it will print 0. So it means the condition, the result of the condition is false. So let's go for logical OR operator. We have another, logical operator which is called logical OR. This is the symbol, logical OR. So we use the OR operators to check multiple conditions. If one of the condition is true, so the result will be true. So if we change, now if I change this one to OR, what will be the result? So this side, 10 is larger than 5, yes. So this is true. This condition is true. And this side, second is larger than 3, no, so it is false. But we have here OR operator. So one of the operand is, true. So when one of the operand is true in OR, the result will be true. So the result will be true. If you print the result variable, now it will print you 1. So we use the OR operator or logical OR operators, and the result will be true when one of those conditions are true. If both conditions are false, the result of OR operator will be false. So now let's go to another logical operator which is called NOT operator. It's called NOT. And it's a unary operator. So it reverses, the result. If the result is true, it negates that one to the false. If the result is false, it negates to the true. For example, if we put here the result is equal, now you can see true, true. So the result of this one is true, yes? But if you put here the not operator, and the not operator is like exclamation mark, you can see this one is called not operator in C++. So if you put a not operator here, so we check, because this is OR, so this part of condition is true because 10 is larger than 5, so it's become true. And this part of condition of the, this condition become false, this side. But because this is OR, we have here OR, and these two conditions are combined by OR, so the result will be true here. The result will be true. But we use here the not operator. So what the not operator do, it reverses the true to the false. So it changes the false to the true and true to the false. So now inside the result variable, we have false. Because here we use the not operator and it changed, the result from the true to the false and from false to the true. If the condition is true, if we use the not operator, it changes the true to the false. If the result of conditions are false and we use the not operator here, it becomes true. So it actually reverses. It changed the true to false, false to true. So these were logical operators in C++ programming language. So we have logical AND, and it only returns true if both conditions are true. If one of those conditions is false, so the result of AND operator will be false. And we have the OR operator, logical OR, which returns true only one of those conditions will be true. If both conditions are false, so that will be, false. Otherwise, if the one of conditions are true, so the OR will return true. And then we have the NOT operator, which, reverse the condition, the result of a condition. If the result of a condition is, if the result of conditions are true, so it will change to the false. If the result of conditions are false, it changes to the true. So it's time for practice. So let's go to the computer and practice logical operators in C++ programming language. Yes, I'm back to my macOS computer. So let me open the client IDE. So I just opened the client IDE. So in this lecture, we discussed about the logical operators in C++. So in C++, when we use these logical operators, so we use logical operators in our program when we need to check more than one conditions, when we need to check the result of two conditions or more than that. So we use logical operators. The result of logical operators will be either true or false. So in C++, there are three main logical operators. First, we have a logical AND. We have logical AND, which we define by ampersand. So this is called a logical AND operator. So the result of logical AND operator is only true if both conditions are true. So let's check it. If I here define a Boolean variable and I call Boolean result is equal to, and I define one condition, like I say, like check 100 is larger than 75, and another condition, I say 50 is smaller than 60. So if we combine these two conditions, so we use the logical operators. So in this case, we use the logical AND operator. So the result of this condition will be, so when we check here, the first condition is 100 is larger than 75. Yes, that's true. And the second condition, 50 is smaller than 60. Yeah, that's true. So we have here the AND operator. We use the AND operators. When we use the AND operators, if both conditions are true, the result will be true. So if we print out, we check, I see result is equal to result. So let me run the program. So as you can see, result is equal to 1. It means a result is true. So inside result variable is the value of true is stored because we use the AND operator. So if we change one of these, like I put here, like I put a 0 here, and it becomes 750. So let's check now. Is 100 is larger than 750? No, it becomes false. And this side of our condition, this condition is true. So true and the false become false. So if we run the program, we can see the result is 0 or the result is false. So in C++, if we say true, it means it's 1. So 1 in C++, it's true. If we say false in C++, it is 0. Okay, so now you can see one of our condition is false, so the result will be false. So remember, when you use AND operator, the result of AND operator is only true if both operands or both conditions are true at the same time. Otherwise, it will be false. So now let's discuss about another logical operator in C++, which called logical OR. And we have the symbol of OR like this. So when we use the logical operators, the logical OR operator in our programs, which we need at least one of those conditions, the result of this condition should be true. So if one of the condition is true, the result of OR will be true. Otherwise, if both conditions are false, the result will be false. So for example, in this condition, if I check AND operator to the OR, what will be the result? Can you guess the result in this time? So let's check. 100 is larger 750? No, it's become false. So this first condition become false, but the second condition is true because 50 is smaller than 60. So now we have, instead of AND, we used OR. So the result of OR operator is true if one of the operands are true or one of the conditions are true. So now let's run the program and see the result will be true. You see the result is 1. The only way which our condition become false when we use OR, if both condition is false, like if I change this one to 500, now 500 is not less than the 60. So this condition, the second condition also become false, and the first condition is also false. So now the result will be false. If I run the program, yes. Now the result is false. And we have also another conditional operator in C++, another logical operator, sorry. It's called NOT operator, NOT. And the symbol for NOT operator is exclamation mark. And it changed the result of condition from true to false, from false to true. For example, now the result is false, if you can see here, because both conditions are false. So the result will be false. If I use here the NOT operator, so it changed the false to the true. It reversed the result. So now if I run the program, you can see result is equal to 1. But if I change the result of this program, like I say, 100 is larger than 75. So in this case, the result of this is true, and the result of this condition is false. True or false become true. And when we use the not, so let's remove the not first. So check the result. So I removed the not operator. Now result is 1. It means result is true. But if we put here the not operator, so it reverse, it changed the true from true to the false, and from false to true. So now if we run, the result will be false. So in C++, we have 3 main logical operators, which we discussed today. It's logical AND, which checks if both operands are true, the result of, AND operator will be true. If one of them is false, the result will be false. And then we have logical OR operators. The result of logical OR operators is true if one of those operands or one of those conditions are true. The only way it becomes false, which both conditions are false, so the result of OR is false. And we have the NOT operator, and it reverses the result of a condition from true to false, from false to true. So it's negates, it's changed. It changed the result from the true to false, from false to true. And also remember, we have short circuit. For example, in logical AND operator, if we use now logical AND operator, yes. So if we check here, for example, so now we know, if we check, so we have 2 conditions here. And I remove the AND, the NOT also. So we have AND operator here, which checks both conditions. If both conditions are true, the result will be true. Otherwise, false. So in this case, I can see the first condition is false. So this is called short circuit evaluation. What we mean by this short circuit evaluations means when compiler sees that we have 2 conditions and it's combined with AND, and it sees when the first, if the compiler checks the first condition is, or the result of the first condition is false, so it will not check the second one, because when the first condition becomes false, so if the second condition becomes false or true, the result will be false, because we use the AND operator here. So it's called short circuit evaluation. The same way we have short circuit evaluation for the OR. If we change this one to the OR now, and we change this one, let's change to this one to 75. And let's change this one to 500. We have the OR operator now. So in this case, the compilers come and check the first condition. If the first condition is true, it does not check the second condition. That is called short circuit. It means it ignores the second part, because for the OR, if one part or one condition is true, the result will be true. So there is no need to check the second, part of the OR operator or the second condition. So this is called short circuit, because the compiler, if once check the first part and it sees there, the operator is OR, so if the result is true for the first condition, so it will never check the second condition. So just please remember this. So we have short circuit evaluation, which is good for performance of application or for the speed of the application, when the compiler compiler, compile and run. So it's good for performance of, our programs at the time of compiling and running the program. So this were today's lecture, and thank you for joining in my YouTube channel. So this lecture will continue, so see you on the next lecture.